Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I was gonna make a video, and apparently I'm not the only one who was thinking about this, because this is on the website X99 News, talking about Star Wars may have already spoiled Baby Yoda's big decision. And I'm sure you've seen the title of this video, which is that we already know what Grogu is going to choose in the future between the Mandalorian and between the Jedi Order. So in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic book in issue number 3, we actually get to see a scene where Kylo Ren is kind of describing being the very first student to ever be trained by Luke Skywalker. The exact quote is, "We all studied together. I was first, but they came not long after me, Vo, Hennix, and Ty." So he's talking about the other students at it. This is Ben Solo right here, and he's talking about how the other students at Skywalker's Academy or Skywalker's Jedi Order, none of them were trained as long as Ben Solo was by Luke. Now they have retconned things from the comic books before. In fact, we have seen this in that very episode that we see Grogu's choice. In the very moment that we see his choice, there's actually a retcon where Luke Skywalker pulls out Yoda's lightsaber. In one of the comics, Yoda's lightsaber is actually destroyed by Mas Amedda. So I believe that if they wanted to, they could very well just retcon this. And another maybe problem with this theory is that Ben Solo could easily have just not known about Grogu. I mean, maybe if there was some sort of falling out between Mandalorian and Luke, I don't know, and Grogu, then that could be a motivation for Luke Skywalker not to sort of reveal that he in fact did train another student before Ben Solo. But I mean, if you look at Ben Solo on the Wikipedia fan site, which is one of the most reliable sources of information for the Star Wars universe, you can easily see here that they consider, aside from his mother, whose Jedi training was cut short, Solo was the first student in Skywalker's initiative to rebuild the Jedi Order. Now, this article goes on to say that this could just be, again, like I said, they could easily just retcon this. And they also go on to kind of say that Luke Skywalker could have potentially known about Tar Vizsla and known about the Mandalorian Jedi. And so maybe this is less so that he is forcing Grogu to choose these, between him and the Mandalorian, and maybe it's more so to see how attached Grogu truly is to the Mandalorian. I just feel that there's going to be some sort of falling out between Luke Skywalker and Grogu, because I think that would really lead pretty well into Ben Solo being trained by Luke Skywalker, and maybe that would explain some of the decisions of like why Luke Skywalker did some of the things he did while training Ben Solo, like not telling him about his grandfather, Darth Vader, trying to like hide all of this from Ben Solo, which was probably a huge motivator and why Ben Solo ended up turning to the dark side. This is one of those things that, to be honest, it's one of the few things from the sequel trilogy that I actually have interest in. I do have some interest in finding out like what's going on with Palpatine and the fucking cloning and stuff. But really, I would say, aside from the horrific way that they end Luke's Jedi Order with like another Order 66, which is just fucking horrible that they would do that they would have Kylo Ren do the exact same thing that Anakin. It's just, not only is it just kind of like disappointing, right, for the character of Luke Skywalker, but it's also just kind of like a rehash of what we've already done. I would have liked to see something that was a little more unique in terms of what Kylo Ren was going to do. Maybe it's like, I don't know, but I just feel like it's a little overplayed to just do the exact same thing that they did in Revenge of the Sith, which is have someone, Anakin, or in this case Kylo Ren, turn to the dark side and like kill all the Jedi and be like the strongest Jedi ever and just like kill all the fucking Jedi. And it's just like, is it like that? Like, I don't know, I mean, Order 66 had every clone, right? I mean, and I guess there weren't that many Jedi in Jedi, being trained by Luke, but I don't know, I've never really liked that, and I think there's a lot of questions about like how it even fucking went down, and like what even was going on, and like I think there's a lot of questions, and I don't think that there's a lot of great answers, to be honest. I think we'll see. But aside from the ending, right, I do like the idea of Luke having started a new Jedi Order. I think that that is like new kind of material that they've never explored in Star Wars before, you know, so that this to me feels like they could definitely go down a path with it. And I think it makes sense because, you know, I think it makes sense that we would have Grogu remain with the Mandalorian, but I think we could totally see other Jedi, and I think we will see other Jedi, and I think it is sort of you have to think about it like this. When Ahsoka Tano was introduced as a character in the Clone Wars, the movie actually, as a Padawan to Anakin Skywalker, there was a sort of knowledge, a pre-knowledge that she was not going to be able to last in the Jedi Order, right? That she was eventually going to have to leave the Jedi Order because there was Order 66, and I don't think that they wanted to just kill her off screen, right? I think they wanted to do more with her character, even from the very moment that she was conceived. So I believe that the same thing is happening with Grogu. I believe that they knew, I mean, they already knew what goes down in The Last Jedi when they were designing and conceiving of this character. So I believe that they know kind of exactly what goes on between Grogu and Luke Skywalker, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I think that they know, you know, the path that Luke is going to go down, and I think that they know how the best way to prevent sort of what the fans don't want to happen, which is I think they don't want Grogu to just die by the hands of Kylo Ren, which seems more and more unlikely as time goes on. I'll be honest, it just doesn't seem like something that they would do like to this character who's like iconic and beloved. So I really think that there's a lot of different things that could go down in this. And I do think, you know, I think that this, you know, I think that this scene from the Kylo Ren comic book, The Rise of Kylo Ren, I do believe it has validity. I think that I do believe that they probably they already knew that, at least they knew that Kylo thought that he was his first student, right? And I'm sure Kylo knew that his mom had some sort of force power, but maybe just never was trained as a Jedi formally. I mean, she was and then stopped training. So, you know, I think Kylo maybe even just considered himself the first student because he was like the first one to be fully trained by Luke, you know, and you know, you could say Grogu was trained by Luke, but really, like, was he Luke's student? You know, I don't think he is going to be Luke's student. I think we already know what his decision is, and I think he's gonna choose the Mandalorian. And he might still end up being with the Jedi. Like, he might still end up wielding Yoda's lightsaber or, you know, whatever. Like, but I think it's pretty obvious that Grogu, given the choice, is probably going to choose the Mandalorian based on how much, you know, connection that they have, what a strong connection they have. And so I think that would definitely maybe motivate Luke Skywalker to start looking at how he needs to run his Jedi Order and how he needs to prevent attachments, maybe, and that could be a motivation for him to then kind of hide the truth about Ben Solo's true heritage, out of fear that would, I don't know, maybe find some sort of he'd find some sort of attachment to Darth Vader, and he didn't want Kylo Ren to go down that path. And I think, ironically, by sort of keeping the secret from him, it really just made Kylo Ren like distrust Luke, you know, and especially I think what we see in The Last Jedi, unfortunately, where Luke like tries to kill Kylo Ren. It's like, why did that even happen? Okay, but I think seeing that, you can kind of understand why things kind of went down the way that they did with Kylo Ren. I think at least, maybe it doesn't make sense for Luke Skywalker's character, like they kind of butchered it, but I think if they do something really, really dramatic with Baby Yoda and they make Grogu sort of the catalyst, why there's such a big difference between Luke after the Return of the Jedi and before the events of The Rise of Skywalker, I think that could probably make sense. All right, everyone. If you like this video, go ahead, leave a like, leave a subscription. Go and tell me what you guys think. Do you think that this debunks the fact that Grogu is going to be with Jedi? Like, the idea that he's going to be trained as a Jedi, it's kind of like, well, we know he's not. I mean, he's not even in this image. Do you see Grogu in this image? I don't, and I don't think that he was around. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was around, because I think if he was around at this time, Kylo Ren would remember him, right? Because Kylo Ren also is already born at this point. Like, he's like 4 or 5 years old by the time of The Mandalorian. Kylo Ren was born like right after the Return of the Jedi. So Kylo Ren Ben Solo, I should say, definitely exists in this, in The Mandalorian, like, no doubt. So I think we could even see Ben Solo tonight on The Mandalorian, or on the Book of Boba Fett, excuse me. Do I keep saying The Mandalorian when I meant the Book of Boba Fett? You know what I'm saying. We could see him show up in the Book of Boba Fett tonight, like as a kid. I think that I don't know. But I think it makes more sense that Kylo doesn't even know anything about Grogu, or because I mean, if he did, like, wouldn't he seek out Grogu? Or maybe that story is just completely over. Maybe Grogu's dead by the point of the sequel trilogy. I don't know. That sounds horrible. But yeah, there's not really anything that ever had, like, and you think that there would be a moment between, like, Yoda and Luke in the sequel trilogy when they, like, kind of communicated with each other through the Force ghost, right? You think that there would be a moment where Luke Skywalker was like, by the way, why didn't you ever tell me you had a fucking son with Yaddle, bitch? Like, you know what I'm saying? Where does that happen? When does that moment happen? It didn't happen in the sequels, so it makes me think, like, what is going on with Grogu, right? What's going on? He must be gone by that point. He must be gone. Anyway, go ahead, leave a like, leave a subscription. Thank you guys all for watching.